So we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. This is the free virtual informational Building with Purpose, Mind, Body, and Soul. And what we are all going to be experiencing tonight, because I say we, because me and Nicole are both a part of this as much as you are. This is a 6-week holistic challenge to reclaim your health, where nutrition meets mental wellness for real lasting change. So your speakers tonight are myself. I am Patrice Stokes. I'm a licensed therapist and I'm representing my business Inspired on Purpose. And we have
Nicole Garrett. I'm a certified holistic nutrition coach, and I'm representing my business, Don't Stop Living Wellness.
whoop, whoop, whoop. So we're going to be very lively tonight because what's today? Tuesday? Yeah. So hopefully y'all are up for a really good time virtually tonight. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm not going to read all this stuff. So if you are into details, you can read it. But in short, as I mentioned before, I'm a licensed therapist. I also have a podcast called Therapy on the Mic. If you are on YouTube, please subscribe because that way you get more amazing content where we talk about all things developing gratitude, growth, and healing. And then I'm also a photographer, a poet, motivational speaker, and author. And I've been doing therapy for 15 plus years. I've got my license in school counseling and master's in counseling and counseling education from Indiana University. And so really my story behind what made me become a therapist is because of my own need for therapy. And I always tell people, if a therapist needs a therapist, what does that mean for everybody else? So in that, what I'm most passionate about is supporting youth, families, educators, entrepreneurs when it comes to mental wellness, self-care, and purpose-driven living. I specialize in areas of anxiety, trauma, depression, life transitions, and faith-based challenges. And I am most passionate about, but not exclusively, there's many more things, but I'm most passionate about healing communities of color because of the stigma that comes with therapy and just being able to educate and empower our communities for the benefits of what therapy can do. And so especially working with Black women facing workplace racial trauma, that has been part of my story and really what therapy has done and how it's helped me, and hence one of the reasons why I do the work that I do. But I also work with individuals and families building healthy relationships and emotional balance, and work with group sessions for teens, adults, and families to learn healthy communication skills, grow and heal together. And then I also work with students to help them with academic skills to reduce stress, gain confidence, and achieve goals. That's a little bit about me. Let's hear from Nicole.
Yes. Hi, guys. My name is Nicole Garrett. I am the owner of Don't Stop Living Wellness. Like I mentioned earlier, I am a certified holistic nutrition coach, and I am on a mission to help the community restore their health and reclaim hope. My journey started back in 2012. I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease and left me in pain, and I just basically gave up. And the doctor said medication would not help me. So I educated myself on nutrition, primarily gut health. Everybody has a gut. So I coach everyone, doesn't matter your nationality, an adult, a man, woman, child, everybody has a gut and that may need to be healed. And with that, I learned you can improve autoimmune diseases. You can improve if you're trying to gain weight, lose weight, have high blood pressure, any chronic disease, the gut is where it starts. So that's my primary focus. If you're stressed or you don't have energy, all of that is wrapped around your gut. So that's why Patrice and I collaborated together to bring you a nutrition and a mental health program. So there we go. It's a little bit about me.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
So the purpose of tonight is to tell you about how your gut affects your mental, and how your mindset can affect your health as well. So we talk about resetting your health, elevating your mindset, and then aligning your wellness goals. So it doesn't matter what state you're in with your wellness goals. This program can help you, and coming together as a community will give you that encouragement as well. So like Patrice had mentioned, the program is 6 weeks. It starts next week, and we talk about in the program your gut health, your mindset, your emotions, and your self-worth. It helps with chronic fatigue, weight loss, anxiety, stress, hormones. Right now, I'm like, don't even say the word hormones, right? That's a trigger. Triggered. I even saying that. Perimenopause and everything in between. So it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, as long as you're 18 and older, you can get benefit out of this program. And like I said, it doesn't matter what nationality you are, we all have a gut. So there we go. And you're not broken. You just need a reset. So yeah, right. Y'all need a reset. And who is the program for? It's for anyone that's struggling with you're bloated, you have stubborn weight, moon swings, you're constipated. I always like to put that in there because if you're constipated, we need to talk. If you're dealing with stress, anxiety, you're not sleeping, and then if you're just emotionally overwhelmed, who's not right now? The kids going back. We got kids that going back to school next week. So we all stressed out, right? And how to
or if you're an educator.
Or you're an educator, right? I forget about y'all. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about me right now, Patrice. So this is for everyone. So
yeah,
if you want to put yourself first again, which is really important, especially as your kids get older, and they start leaving the house, and you kind of just look around and say, you've neglected yourself because you were so focused on whatever you were focused on at the time with your kids. So. And that is you, Patrice.
Oh, okay. So what is this challenge? So it is called Building with Purpose. Why? Good question, even though you didn't ask. Well, what it is, it's about having a guided nutrition and mindset program that's supporting you from a certified holistic nutrition coach, which is Nicole, and a licensed therapist, which is me. And so we're going to talk about things dealing with gut healing, education, as far as that is concerned. And that's one of the things that I'm really most excited about. So, none of us are Superman or Superwoman. We don't know all things. And so, my wheelhouse is mental health, and Nicole's wheelhouse is nutrition. And so they go hand in hand. You don't have one without the other to have wellness. And that's one of the reasons why this is educational, because you're getting the best of both worlds. And then we're going to talk about mental health check-ins. What are some things that might be triggers for you, or areas where you might be emotionally overwhelmed, and being able to learn coping skills to help you to release some of those things that you might be carrying or might not even realize that you're carrying. We're also going to talk about gratitude, journaling, self-care, some of the things that we don't even realize are very powerful, very simple, but very powerful things that maybe because life got in the way, we've gotten too busy, and we just need to get back to the basics and how we can work through the things that may be keeping us from building with purpose. And then we'll also have weekly community support, which on here already, I feel the love. And I think that's the biggest thing. We can literally be in different places all over the country and the world, and sometimes find the best community because people have like-minded purposes and are aligned for the same goals. Even if our goals are still different, but there's enough here that I can say you're here because there's something about this program that interests you. So in and of itself, we've created a community.
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
So kind of like what Patrice said, so just to let you guys know, I am known for the 21-day wellness challenge. It's a way smaller challenge than what we are looking to do with 6 weeks. But I've successfully had almost over 200 people go through my challenge from September of last year to now. And I'm in 7 states now. So the challenge does work, and it does work if you're not here in Indianapolis. So I just wanted to, as Patrice was talking about the challenge and not being here, I just wanted to add to that. But a lot of my clients, I ask them, what works? Because nutrition is very controversy. It's all over TikTok, it's over social media, it's different fad diets, especially for Patrice and I age group. I've always feel like my hardest client is the younger generation because they are so on social media. So they question everything I say as a nutrition coach. And I always say, I don't know everything, but I know what I've created works. So to give that a try and see if it works for you. It's not going to work for everybody. I'm not saying 100% that it's going to work for everybody. But one thing I do know about gut health, right? So if you have a weak gut, sometimes people when I made a joke earlier talking about being constipated, we don't realize how important it is to go to the restroom every day. So if you're someone that's stressed out, you may be bloated, or you just don't have any energy, or you're not sleeping well. A lot of times that has to do with our gut and what we're putting into our gut, right? And then if you get sick a lot, your immune system is weak, because you are getting sick a lot. It's harder for you to get better. More than other people, right? Because you have bad gut health. You may have more inflammation, you may have water retention, rate retention, you have low energy, and that all affects your mental. So some people have anxiety and depression. And so this is why I partnered with Patrice, because as I mentioned, all my clients that went through my challenge, and I was hearing different stories and different emotional ties to food, and a lot of mental things that were going on with my clients that I was not adapt to handle. So I was like, we need a therapist. I need someone to help them mentally as they are. I had a lady that realized she's in her late 60s. She realized that she had an eating disorder, but going through my program and me talking, she realized that it was something that happened to her when she was 10 years old. So that's why I decided to partner with Patrice, because when things like that happen, Patrice can help her navigate through that, because I've opened up this can of worms that she has something emotionally tied to food. So the gut to brain connection goes hand in hand, right? So that's why Patrice and I partner is so important. So this challenge targets gut healing food, movement, and mindfulness. So that could be adding foods or removing foods. Just depends. What do we need to do to heal our gut? So I just want to go over that real quick with the gut health. And then healing through food. So during the challenge, you'll get an approved food list that's going to help you support your gut healing. Foods that are good for your gut, and then foods that are not good. Weekly eating guidance. I'll give you a sheet each week. We'll meet on Zoom on Tuesdays, and then I'll give you, I'll talk to you about the different foods you should eat, the different foods that you should not eat. But the thing about it is, it's support. Right. So if I tell you not to eat something, I'm just going to say don't eat it, because I know it's usually something emotional tied to that or a craving tied to it. So then I'll tell you what to eat. And then I share recipes with you as well. We have a neurologist, Dr. Jerry Smart, that I work with. He sits on my board. He comes on and he talks about the gut to brain connection. So he talks about that as well. So he'll come on the call as well to talk about that and to answer any questions that you might have. And then I give you hydration recipes that's going to help give you energy. We can't say, you need energy to listen to anything we saying. We telling you to move or to do a journal. I don't got no energy to do a journal. So I'm going to help you get energy to do the journal and the mental capacity. Some people I got brain fog. I don't want to read. We're going to get you there. It's going to help you flush out toxins. It's going to reduce your cravings. And it's going to support your digestive system. I love when people say they start my program and they haven't pooped and, they poop once a week. And they're like, girl, I'm going every day. I'm like, yes, because you have to feel so much better getting those toxins out of your body. I do talk about poop a lot. And then weekly food education. I talk to you about different foods and foods that are good for your body and for our bodies, for everybody's body. So that's the piece on nutrition.
And if y'all could, if you're on, go ahead and mute yourself, because I'm getting a little bit of feedback.
And it's no fad diets. I want to make sure I say that this is a lifestyle change. So it's not any gimmicks. Like I'm not going to say do keto or paleo or anything like that. It's not a diet. We don't even say that word. That's a cuss word. We talk about a lifestyle change to better you. So we don't say that. And it's not, even though the picture is really pretty and it's salads, I always tell people I am a healthy way, and it's not by eating salads. So I teach you how to cook good food that feeds the guidelines of what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah, and we'll probably have some time at the end because you also cook for people too, right?
You shouldn't put somebody that.
I'm sorry. Sorry, because I want some of your food. But anywho, okay. So we'll get to that later. Okay. Well, speaking of education, because that's exactly what Nicole does, and I mean, I have seen, she's had me on her, show before with her clients, and just hearing how she, educates people. It's so important. But this is what this again, like I said before, education is within the program, and knowledge is power. And a lot of the reasons why we all have, some unhealthy habits is because of the things that we don't know. And so the more we know, the more we grow. And so this plant is a big, example. When you don't have water, then you see it's drooping, it's not living to its full potential. But as soon as water gets on it, when it gets what it needs, the nutrients, it opens up. It not only, rises, but it opens up. And a lot of us aren't fully living out our purpose because of the things that we're not getting. So if we get nurturing and intentionality in our lives on a consistent basis, we'll see a huge change, probably in more ways than we might even realize. So growth requires unlearning things in our life that have become barriers to us living out our God-given purpose. And growth doesn't happen in isolation, it occurs in community. So we're in this together. So we will walk through a different theme each week to help us on our new journey. And so the first week, we're going to talk about refreshing. The second is resetting. The third is renew. The fourth is resilience. And then the last is rise to your purpose. And we'll get into that in just a minute. But this goes into the piece about mental health and how this is connected to food. There are so many things that I can think about. Actually, Nicole and I just had this conversation before about how something as small as, especially in communities of color, where the word healthy sometimes means like overweight, like, oh, you healthy, you big boned it, right? But not realizing that a lot of that could be unhealthy. And yet we use the word healthy as a way to describe different things. And it can be different for each community group. I work with a lot of different ethnicities and backgrounds from, different age ranges. And one of the things that is true, no matter what ethnic background you're from, is we all have a relationship with food. I have a relationship with food. And that's one of the reasons why I'm excited about taking this challenge, because we sometimes don't realize how food has impacted us. And over the years, if we really start journaling, which is what we're going to talk about, when we really start taking account of how food has either helped or hindered us, it has become our confidant. It's become our best friend. It's become what we grieve with. It's become what we celebrate with. And so all those things, we're going to talk about breaking down the emotional attachment to foods. And of course, I will be leading that as a licensed therapist. One of the things that I think we also have to look at is how it's linked to coping mechanisms. How often? And I mean, y'all can put this in the chat because if you feel comfortable, but
next week, a lot of people will be trying to cope with their kids, or this week. So if you got a McDonald's app, delete it.
We might be talking to some people right now. McDonald's ain't my thing. It's Chick-fil-A. So I'm putting myself out there. But like, put in the chat if you feel that you have coped with food before. I'm not asking you how, we ain't gotta go into detail, but if you've coped with food in some way, just put yes in the chat. So I know that you're tracking with me, that you're tracking with us. If you've coped with food before in some way, that's been a coping mechanism for you in your life, just yes. Okay, so we're not alone. Y'all see all them yeses going up? We are in this together, y'all. And that is one of the reasons why we're doing this. And we have to learn why food has become a coping mechanism, how it's comforted us, why it's comforted us. Is that something that we were given as a kid when we were being silenced because we were told not to speak up, but eat? Or were we told, this is going to make you feel better when it didn't actually do that? But we continued to do it, and not realizing that there's a lot of unhealthy habits that are around us because of the environment that we're in. Or because, it could be because we don't have the knowledge or education behind what foods to eat. That's one of the reasons why I'm also excited about this, because sometimes we don't realize we have allergies to foods, but because, I love chicken. I don't know if anybody else loves chicken, but if there was one meat that I would really have a hard time giving up, it would be, I'm not even gonna say pork, it's really pepperoni. That's very specific because I love pizza. So, but these are the things we have to get to learn how to regulate our emotions instead of suppressing them. And a lot of times with food. So, we're going to talk about weekly guided journaling prompts. We'll have therapy-based sessions and resources available to you to help you take on this journey, because it is going to be a journey. And then we'll also be using affirmations. You will get my published self-care journal and book called Gratitude is Always in Season. And as I mentioned before, I'm a poet, but in the book, it has poetry, it has my photography. I've traveled the world, and one of the things that I've really found has been a healing space for me is being able to capture moments. And so I've paired that with the poems that I wrote, along with it has a self-reflection questions for each poem where you can journal about how that poem impacts you and helps you along your journey, because there's three sections in the book, 3 chapters: gratitude for self, gratitude for relationships, and gratitude for the journey. And I always encourage clients, when I use it in individual therapy sessions and group therapy sessions, I ask people to start in the chapter that you have the hardest time finding gratitude in your life right now. So are you having issues with finding gratitude for yourself or relationships or the journey? And that's where you start. And then there's affirmations throughout the book as well, reminding you of your value and who you are. Because as you're going on this journey, one of the things we also talked about is how there can also be hidden fears of losing weight, because you may look different. You may not notice yourself. You may not be able to wear the same clothes. Like all of these things that we need to affirm our value of who we are. And even talking about mindful eating, rewiring beliefs around weight, and identifying, this is a big one, identifying triggers. Because I know what mine are when I'm stressed, and I know what I tend to go to. So I love ice cream. If you love ice cream, just put yes. Because that's going to be something that we'll also talk about. Like, what are healthy foods to have when we are dealing with stress? How do we develop coping skills to help us when we are wanting those things that are not healthy for us? And so we'll also talk about the mental health behind that, and then why it's so important for us to find new ways to cope. I see. Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
And I always find, if someone tells me, like Patrice, like as she was saying, and I was thinking about so many things I can give her to where she said, oh, I can't give this up. I'm like, but you can do this, and you can do that. So I always find substitutions, because with I have an autoimmune disease, a celiac disease. I cannot eat gluten. So what is gluten? It's pasta, it's pizza, it's all those good things that everybody likes to eat. So I was told I couldn't eat that. So, but I substituted, right? Because I know how to make everything gluten-free now. If you come to my house, you're eating gluten-free, whether you know it or not. My kids just found out 2 years ago when I started doing public speaking that they live in a gluten-free household. So
They didn't know.
they did not know. So the little one knew because she's nosy, but the older ones didn't. But I say that to say that you may be sitting there thinking it's something that you cannot get, cannot give up. And you don't know if you could be in this program, because I just, like Patrice, I need ice cream. I love ice cream. I cannot give ice cream up. I watch the movies too much, and that's what you're supposed to eat when you're sad. And when you go through a breakup, you're supposed to sit in the bed with a tub of ice cream. I got you. We good. I'm going to tell you what to substitute so you can eat your ice cream. So I always tell people, even though I'm a holistic nutritionist, I'm not so far on the holistic side where it's not achievable. And that's why I think I have so many clients and they've had success because of that, right? Because I'm practical. So I just wanted to throw that in there. But I got you, Patrice. We in this together.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. And I'm looking forward. I've looked up some recipes too. And I think that's another part of this community that I'm really excited about, because some people in here, you may already eat healthy, right? And that may not be why you're in here. Maybe you're in here because you want to learn more about the mental health piece, or you're in here, or the community, or you're in here because you're just curious about all of it. Or maybe you're looking for, something to kind of spruce up your eating habits, right? Because There's so many things out there that you can eat, but I love learning. And that's one of the things that I would say is come ready like a student, right? If you live your life as a student, you will always grow. The moment that you stop wanting to learn is the moment when you stop growing. So all of us, including me, Nicole, we are in this space. As much knowledge as we have, we are still learning. And so that is one of the beautiful. Yeah, it's this is fun. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm always a student of life because I love cooking, right? And of course, I love cooking when I'm not stressed. But I really love cooking. And then I also feel, I don't know how to say this, but I feel smart when I cook healthy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's mental. Your mental's like,
Yeah.
yay.
Yeah. So speaking of mental, that is a great segue, Nicole, because this next amazing lady who is going to speak on not only the work that she does, but why this program is so powerful and beneficial for everybody, no matter why you came onto this today. Her name is Kathy Holloway Hill. She is a life strategist. She's a psychologist. And I want you to hear her story of why this program is transformational. But let me tell you a little bit about her, right? And you're probably reading this on your own. So good. But basically, some things you need to know is that she is the founder and CEO of C. Holloway Hill Enterprises. She is passionate about enhancing, empowering, educating, and motivating individuals to live an authentic life. She's got a degree. The woman is smart, y'all. She's got a BS in computer science, a master's in psychology. Upon the startup of her enterprise, she has worked in corporate America at IBM for 28 years, where she gained success with breaking the glass ceiling and has received numerous leadership awards in her corporate career. And as a result, she voluntarily, because I'm sure IBM paid really well, but she voluntarily walked away to pursue her passion and purpose in the work that she does. And so this is why Building with Purpose is the name of the 6-week challenge, because this is someone who is truly living with purpose. So I want to introduce y'all to Kathy Holloway Hill. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Oh my goodness, Nicole. Oh, that was Patrice. Patrice,
Yes.
thank you so much. Oh,
You're so welcome.
make me sound so wonderful. Well, I won't take a lot of time, ladies and gentlemen, who's ever on the call, but I will say this. I want you to either, if you're writing, if you have something to write with, either write down the word or just keep the word in the back of your mind, trauma. Everything that's going to happen over the next 6 weeks trauma is going to be the foundation of whether or not you succeed. And the reason I say that is because in my work as a psychologist, yes, I started out in my corporate career early in life, and then I realized that it was no longer my passion. So I transitioned out of corporate America. Yes, it was a sacrifice, but it was worth it. Because we all have trauma. And that's why I want you to keep that word in the back of your mind, because whatever your trauma is, whenever you experienced it in your childhood, in your adult life, whenever you experienced it, it is going to be the deciding factor of whether or not you succeed, and it helps or it hinders your success. And I can also say that everything Patrice and Nicole have said about the gut and your mental and physical health is so true, because my situation with my trauma in my childhood created an environment for me to hate food.
Mm.
Now, how different is that? My trauma caused me to not want to eat. So, I mean, I didn't have a anorexia or the bulimia thing where you make yourself, throw up or whatever. I didn't have that. I just did not like to eat. I may eat once every 2 days or a couple of times a week, but I did drink enough water where I stayed hydrated. So my primary care doctor eventually told me, hey, you're going to have to start eating. Okay. I don't know how you can do it, but you've got to do it. So that's the first thing. It doesn't matter if you eat too much or if you eat too little. It's all about your mindset and whatever your trauma has created in your life. Also, I want to make the point that food is the number one addiction.
Yes.
It contains ingredients that release endorphins, and that's why you keep coming back to certain kinds of foods. You want that dopamine rush. You want that serotonin rush. Those are neurotransmitters in your brain that are released when you get that endorphin high from certain foods. That's a fact. The FDA does not care about your goals. Companies don't care about your goals. They want you to stay sick so they can be billionaires. And I'm just saying this so as you go through this 6-week program, I know, look, you've got 2 super women here helping you, guide you through this program. And I'll be coming on periodically when they need me to come on as a clinical psychologist, because I work with a lot of people in all of these areas. So with everything I have said, if you want to read more about me, you can go to my website and some of the things I've done. But the things I want you to keep in mind as you go through this process, the things that are going to matter are your habits, your beliefs, your self-talk, your accountability, and your commitment.
That's good. Oh, man, that's like a whole thing right there. So look, and side note, I'm just gonna put this out there. So Kathy's gonna be on my podcast tomorrow, Therapy on the Mic. So if you want to hear more about all this, because we're gonna talk about some of it.
Yes, we're going to
Make
get
sure-
into detail about everything I just said.
Yes. So make sure to, again, so if you're not on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to Inspired on Purpose. And that's where we will do the live stream, and you'll be able to see and hear and ask questions. So we'll be able to do that more fully there. But that was good. Thank you so much, Kathy. So, I mean, she pretty much.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So she pretty much said what it is. But in short, what is mental health? It's your psychological, your social, and emotional well-being. And all of those things are impacted by what we eat, as well as how we feel and think about ourselves. And so good mental health helps us manage emotions, build strong relationships, and cope with stress in healthy ways, because that's half of the battle. If we can figure out a way to cope with stress in healthy ways, then the last part is we can make good decisions. And a lot of times the reason why we don't make good decisions is because we don't have good mental health, which then impacts the way that we eat, which then also impacts how we feel. So see all that? Just it's a big circle.
Yes.
So quick statistic, 80% of studies show that therapy clients, so people who go to therapy, have been able to set clear. Somebody, if somebody could mute themselves, I don't know. I hear a little bit of feedback in my ear, but a study found that 80% of therapy clients who set clear, structured life goals reported significant improvements in motivation, empowerment, and overall life satisfaction. So if those are any of those things, if those are any of the goals that you have, then this is for you. So I'm going to go through all the lists, but a question I often get asked as a therapist is, how do I know therapy is right for me? Well, here are some benefits or signs that you might need or benefit from therapy. If you're feeling overwhelmed, stressed, or anxious about anything, or need healthy ways to cope, it's for you. If you're struggling to set healthy boundaries in relationships, or you don't know how to manage conflicts well, this is for you. If you want support to build self-esteem, or even creating self-care habits, or personal growth, or wanting to seek clarity in your purpose, your overall goals, and your personal values, this is for you. And just the overall, like the thing that I often hear from clients when they come to me for therapy is a feeling of being stuck. And that's one of the areas that is most needed for therapy, because you got to get unstuck in order to be able to fulfill what you are called to do. So what is self-care? Because we're going to talk a lot about that in this, and your food regimen is a big part of your self-care. So self-care is a necessity, not a luxury. And a lot of people think it's about being pampered, getting a massage, traveling the world. Yeah, those could be, but it could also cause stress. So here are some things that you want to keep in mind when you're thinking about the definition of self-care. Is taking intentional actions to protect and nurture your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. It reduces stress, it builds balance and supports growth and helps you prevent burnout while strengthening resilience, which is a big part of what we're going to talk about in the 6 weeks about how to build resilience. So you can see the pros and the cons of when you are intentional about self-care and when you're not. And the two things I really want to just point out is reducing stress is a benefit of when you actually are intentional with it, but the opposite is burnout. And you're talking to someone who has experienced burnout. And one of the things that I notice when I do self-care, and we'll also talk about ways that you can develop a self-care plan. We will help you develop that in this 6 weeks so that you can actually continue to do it even after the program is over.
Yes.
So, I guess we got, let's see, Kathy, can you mute yourself? Because I think we got a little bit of feedback. I want to introduce one of my clients who was so gracious to share a quick part of her testimony and why therapy can work and how it has helped her. And so I want to introduce you all to Miss Sophia. So, hi, Sophia. You can unmute yourself. Uh-oh, still can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm a little nervous, but one of my reasons for coming to Patrice over 3 years ago was because I was dealing with grief from the loss of my two grandbabies during the COVID era, also the epidemic, a fractured marriage, low self-esteem, and feeling stuck, like I just couldn't move forward, and just wanting to get tools to help me to want to live and get to the next stage of my life, because I actually was at the place where I just didn't want to live anymore. I just wanted to give up. So in these 3 years of getting up to know Patrice and doing our sessions, we started off maybe once a week, and then we went to 3 times a week, bi-weekly, and we were doing therapy with my husband. It was marriage therapy, but now Patrice and I have been doing therapy, just she and I, for over a year now. And I have learned so much. I have gotten so many gracious tools from her. And so I just wrote down some of the things, just one word, sentences or phrases that she gave me that helped me to get to where I need to be. And one of them was put it in the parking lot. So in marriage therapy, Patrice taught me, and my husband and myself too, when we were just going at it, because there was a lot of that, to remind each other, let's just put that in the parking lot and we'll revisit. And that has helped tremendously with being able to communicate with my husband. I have learned to say no. Um, I didn't have a voice before, so I would let my husband run over me or just say what he wanted to say. I dealt with a lot of mental and emotional and verbal abuse. I no longer tolerate it. So, for instance, today, my husband asked me to take him to pick up his truck. So I called and asked him if he would be ready in 30 minutes. He said no, or an hour. He said that we would just pick it up tomorrow. When I made it home, he was like, well, let's go pick up the truck. I'm strong enough now to say no. So I not only told him no, but in a loving way, I told him that I wasn't going to be able to take him to pick up the truck. Um, he could go get his truck, but I wouldn't be taking him. And I felt so good about that. I was able to go lay in the bed and start snoring. So before I would be afraid. Um, my self-worth has increased tremendously. I love myself. I'm proud of myself um, for the goals that I have accomplished. I am currently working towards opening up a home care business. Um, and it's so many other things. I mean, it's just so much that I have achieved, so many steps through going through therapy with Patrice that I have accomplished. And right now, like I said, it's just once a month. Sometimes I'll do twice a month, but I'm not going to give up on myself. And I am going to continue to put the work in on me, regardless. My husband no longer does therapy and he's not doing it with anybody. But what I learned is I have to focus on me. I'll have to focus on Sophia, and Sophia is loving Sophia. I could do it better, and I'm gonna work on doing it better. I'm gonna work on loving me better. So that's about it.
Thank you for
Thank
sharing
you so
that.
much. Man, what a testimony. I know hopefully I'm blessed by her testimony, but I hope you all were too. And that hopefully will show you why therapy is good. So I'm gonna let Nicole share on this part.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go in depth about stress because we kind of covered all that, right? About how stress affects the cuss word hormones and your weight, and your gut and all those things. If you have even men have hormones as well, so that affects them as well. But it affects your sleep, affects your mood swings, affects your weight gain or loss. If you can lose weight too, affects your face. Your face is broken out, and it affects your hair. Some people hair is thinning because they're stressed out. So it affects a lot. Stress affects a lot. And when you're stressed out or you're depressed and you have all these things that I just list, it makes you choose foods that cause it to be worse, right? In my other class, I talk about how in March I went to on spring break and I am going through perimenopause, cuss word. And I was with my volleyball moms and I had too many mom drinks. And my friend kept saying, "What is wrong with you? Why do you keep messing with the air? Why do you keep taking showers?" And I had did so good with my lifestyle change and me balancing my hormones. I was good. I went out of town and I just forgot everything that I know. And but the thing of it was all that sugar that I was drinking, and just being on vacation and just eating out of the normal, just like whatever, I'm on vacation and not doing it in my moderation. Still having fun on vacation, but I just did a little overboard. So anyway, that threw off my hormones. So it made me cranky, threw everything off. I'm having hot flashes in Florida. I'm just going crazy.
Ooh.
So it's just like one thing after next. When you eat something that you don't supposed to eat, then you're stressed out, and it's just like a circle, right? It's just an effect. But in the program, I teach you what to do when that happened, right? So then once I identified what was happening, I thought I was just hot because I was in Florida, and I'm like, oh no, it's not that. It's the fun that I'm having. But I knew what to do to adjust myself and to fix myself and get myself back on the right path and get myself out of perimenopause timeout. So I got back out of timeout and I reset my body, reset myself. So not only do I identify the triggers that you have with food, I give you solutions, right? And that's the key, is to have solutions. Okay, you telling me all this stuff. Y'all telling me that I'm stressed out. Y'all telling me that I need gut health, but what do I do? And that's what I like to tell you. What do you do? And I'm practical, right? Because I live it every day. So the first week of the program, we're going to talk about refreshing and how to hydrate. Before you do anything, you got to hydrate. You got to hydrate properly. So we're going to get in hydration and some rules of the program. The next week, we're going to reset the gut to brain connection. Like I said, Dr. Smart's going to come on. He's a neurologist here in Indianapolis Informal. He's going to come on the Zoom call and he's going to talk about that. He loves doing that. He started with me in January now. Now he's a comedian. We have took our show on the road. So he loves that piece. And then we talk about nutrition and sleep. So I'm gonna help y'all get some better sleep, y'all. We're gonna sleep. Okay. We're gonna sleep with the kids. Kids need bedtimes. We need bedtimes. We're gonna go to sleep. And the educators, they need sleep too. So they'll be nice to our kids. We're gonna get some energy. We're gonna get moving together So even if you're out of town or you're here, we're going to do live Zooms, and we're going to get moving together, get moving on Zoom. I got some great workout videos, and it doesn't matter what state you're in, not state as in where you live, but state as in movement. I've had a lady that was in a wheelchair and she's able to do these movements as well. So we'll come on Zoom together and we'll work out together. And then Patrice is going to talk about her book and breathing and do a little bit therapy. And then we all going to rise together. We're going to reclaim our power. We're going to celebrate. And we're going to love on ourselves a little bit more. We're going to learn how to love on ourselves properly. So that's basically the 6 weeks. In a nutshell. It goes so fast. And you're like, oh my God, is it over? Now what do we do? We have so much fun. Yes.
Yeah. And I do want to add too. So during that time, you'll either be being taught by Nicole or myself. In the times when the other is not teaching, you'll be getting a video. So there'll still be things for you to do during and after that week. So then that way you still have things throughout the week. But that's one of the things that you'll get during that time. And one of the things that I do is a technique called life work. And so you'll have not homework, it's life work, because I always tell my clients the biggest thing is that, when you even have a one-on-one therapy session, that's a very conducive time, but really the work is done outside of therapy. So in this sense, you're getting a group therapy session and opportunities for you to be able to share what you're learning, how you're growing, what you're struggling with, and doing it in a safe community. But you'll also be doing work outside of that to help you continue the journey.
Yes. So this is I wanted to share with you guys, like I had said before, I do different challenges, nutrition challenges. So these are some of the people that went through my challenge. So when I was saying that it's really diverse, it is. So I had a gentleman, Jay, that joined my program about 2 years ago. He joined, and he had diabetes and he was struggling with losing weight and diabetes. So now today he has lost over 100 pounds. He's still part of my membership. He's off all his medication. He learned how to eat healthier, right? And he's loving life and loving playing with his grandkids. Charlene, she's actually on the call right now. She's going to tell a little bit about her journey. She started with me February this year. She's in Terre Haute, Indiana. So most of hers was virtual, and she became an ambassador. So different people that did not live in Indianapolis, they're able to become ambassadors. And then I start different groups. So I'm in 7 states now. I have ambassadors in 7 states, and then we build teams there. Kim, she joined with me, and she joined with me because she was stressed. And she wanted to lose weight, and we identified that she could not lose weight because she was so stressed. So she worked with me more one-on-one, more so than the 21-day wellness challenge, but she was able to be de-stressed, able to sleep better, and then to lose 15 pounds. So it doesn't matter what walk of life you're on. Kim's goal was not to lose weight. It was just to de-stress. But within that, she lost some weight, and she's like, hey, I'll take those 15 pounds. But what's more important, she has stress tools, coping tools, and then she identified what her triggers were that she was eating that was making her even more stressed. So I always tell people, you either have a sugar monster or a salt monster that lives in your gut, and once you eat it, it's like, I want more, I want more. So from Patrice saying that she likes ice cream, we're gonna call her out. So she has a sugar monster that's in her gut, and the more you feed it, the more that it wants more. I have a salt monster. I'll testify to that. I love Mexican. That's my favorite food. Don't judge me. So everybody has a go-to. It's either salt or sugar. And some people are like, I don't eat sugar and I don't eat salt. But do you eat pasta? Do you eat bread? Right? So that all breaks down to that. So either one you have in your gut, but we're going to get rid of the monster. So Charlene, if you're on the call, do you want to just tell them a little bit about your 70 pounds of weight that you lost? So I always like to say it's toxins, right? I don't really like to use the word pounds because it's toxins that you release, and that's what helps you. We talk a lot about toxins in my calls, and that is what helps you when you release that. That's why you're sleeping better. That's why you got more energy, not necessarily pounds or weight.
Hi, everybody. How's everyone doing? Like Nicole said, I started with her in February. And my reason for joining was to lose weight and to learn some healthier eating habits. And because I was on, and I'm still on it. I'm on Monjourno, but I've been on Monjourno for almost a year and a half, 2 years, and I wasn't losing the weight. And that's what they say, oh, that's going to help you lose weight. It wasn't. It didn't help me lose weight. It didn't help me lose my appetite or cravings for certain foods. But when I joined the wellness program, that's when I learned to control my eating and to make better food choices. And that's how I lost the weight. When Nicole started us on, and you cut this out, you cut that out, you don't eat this, I was like, dang, I was eating all that stuff. So my doctors really weren't giving me the tools I needed to actually stop eating unhealthy foods and to do better. And that's what Nicole did, gave me the tools and the reason why, even the gut health education on what all that stuff does to your gut and does to your brain. And so my thing was to join to lose weight, to eat healthier, to make better food choices for my family, because they eat right along with me. So when I buy the healthier food choices, they eat them. They don't even complain. They don't even ask why. They just eat them. And when they see me losing the weight, they're like, wow, because my husband's on the wellness program too.
Yes.
But they see how well I'm doing on it and how much weight I've lost, because it kind of like, once I changed my mindset and became more disciplined about what I'm eating, and that was the big thing. You got to be disciplined about what you're eating and why you're not eating it. That's when the weight fell off. And it did relieve a lot of stress. I did get better sleep. But losing the weight was a lot to me, because I knew I was overweight. And it's something, you're in your mind, you're overweight, you shouldn't eat that. You shouldn't go through McDonald's or Wendy's, but you still do it. But after getting in the wellness program, learning why I need to cut out all that processed food, and how, it's just, it's unhealthy, and even caring more about myself. So just caring a lot more about me and how I look and how I feel. And it has done a lot for my self-esteem. It's helped me be a little more assertive about myself, energized about what I
It's a lot
do.
more vocal.
So, but I'm enjoying it because of the discipline. It's taught me, and the healthy eating habits. And even like we said, I don't really like wine. Wine was one of my go-to things in the evening to relieve stress, and that's how I wind down. When I'm I wind down, but I don't do that anymore. So I don't think I've had a glass of wine in, this is end of July. I don't think all this month I've had a glass of wine. Last month I might have had a glass or two, but it's not it used to be an everyday thing for me. So even Nicole's taught me how to discipline myself to feel good about cutting out bad stuff, and not feel like, and if I'm stressed out, I don't need to turn to wine. I can go read a book. I can go read a good book. I've been downloading more books on my Audible and just listening to them. So a lot of this, you learn a lot of discipline through her wellness program. And I'm looking forward to the mental health part, because I work with a lot of people that have mental health issues. So it's going to give me the tools to kind of help them out also.
Awesome.
Thank you, Charlene. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So we're getting close to wrapping up, but we wanted to share about the preparation part, because that part is the thing that we all need to know. How are we going to get ready? So we're going to have an opportunity to pick up our bags. And of course, if you are at a distance, we will ship your information, your welcome package, so that way you can still be a part of all the things that we're doing. And so that information is here. And then of course, the offerings that you can also do. So as you're doing this, you may realize, like, actually, I need some more one-on-one coaching, or I might want to actually start a therapy session, or you might realize even right now that you're like, I need to do a therapy session. I actually want to get started now. We can do that. That will be an additional cost, and we can talk about all that stuff offline. You'll get our contact information at the end. So if there are individual things that you want from us, you can definitely do that outside of the program. But these are some of the things that you will be able to help you get ready for that. Some bonus tools you will be able to receive. You can read all of it, but the main things that I just want you all to know is that you all have weekly coaching calls. These will be live Zoom calls just like this. There'll be videos that you'll have on replay to watch. So that way you can go back to it when you need that extra encouragement or a reminder of what to focus on. You'll also be getting merch as well. So we're really excited about some of the things that you're going to get to help you remind yourself of the encouragement that you need, because it is a journey. You'll have a private accountability group. So we will create a group for you. So then that way you all can not just connect with us, but with each other. Because one of the most powerful things that I've noticed anytime I've ever done group therapy sessions is that people get more of an impact, not just hearing from me, but hearing from other people who are in the group. And actually, Sophia has been to one of my group therapy sessions as well. And just being able to see her share about what she's dealing with and how she's growing and how people were encouraged by her, even just seeing in the chat how you all were encouraged by her. That to me shows that having accountability is a big part of this journey. And then, Nicole already mentioned that you'll get recipes, and I'm really excited about that part, as well as other opportunities for also the gratitude workbook and self-care. And then you'll also get digital resources as well to help track your progress. So all that sounds great, right? So this is, I'm sure everybody's thinking like, okay, what is all this cost? So let's just take a look real quick on what you get during this 6-week challenge. You'll get a guided nutrition and mindset program. Of course, that value is $597. You'll get support from a certified holistic nutrition coach and a licensed therapist. That's $1997. Gut healing education, that's $797. Mental health check-ins and emotional release and resources to help you do that. That's $897. Gratitude, journaling, self-care, and resources to help you on that journey. That's $197. And then a weekly community support group, and that's $997. So technically, all of this would cost you $5,482. But y'all ain't paying that. Y'all hear that part? Y'all should be clapping. You're not paying that, because we don't want this to be a barrier to you reaching your purpose. So this is about investing in you. And I really love what Sophia said, because she took control of her life and she wanted to be the focus. Because one of the things that I share with my clients is we can't help anybody else if we're not helping ourselves. And I say that even to myself as a therapist. So often we can be in this nurturing role where we think, well, I need to help this person and that person, and we're dying on the inside. But when we take, just like when you're on a plane and you put that mask on first, you can help other people. And that's what this is. It's investing in you so that you can help others. So joining the challenge, you are focusing on your health and your wellness, which cannot wait. So the early bird price for this today is only $325. So after the early bird price is going to go up $100. So you're saving $100. So if we broke that down just in layman's terms, so y'all really know what this is, you are spending $8 a day. So let's just in the chat real quick, name one thing that you buy on a daily that's $8 a day. It might be less than that. Something that you're like, I don't really need this, but I might go to McDonald's and I'll probably get, I don't even know really what McDonald's. I'll just say Chick-fil-A because that's my spot. So you might get, I don't know, some chicken tenders and some fries with sweet tea. That just sounds really good right now. But I'm saying, like, that's
Sugar bug.
But I'm just saying that's more than $8. So if you remove that from your diet, and if you remove whatever those triggers are, right? Or maybe it's going to the movies, or maybe instead of going to the movies, you go for a walk. That's free, right? Mm-hmm. These are the things that we start thinking about when we're like, I can't afford it. Well, you can. It's about, do you want to afford it when you think about what your overall goals are? So payment plans are definitely available. So if you've not used Afterpay, that is a payment option that you can utilize. And that's one of the things to help you. Again, we want to remove barriers. So we want to make this accessible to you. Spots are limited. So we want to ensure individual support. So that's why we're starting this with a group of y'all, really, you all the group. We had another group actually last week. And so, spots are filling up fast. So we want you to be a part of that. And you can join by either, if you're on your computer, you can take your phone and scan the QR code and you can go ahead and do that. Or I think, did you already put it in the chat?
Nicole put it in the chat. Yep.
Bet. So you can also go to the chat and you can find the link in there. And so that's where you can go if you want to. You can go right now and just pay for that. And then so of course let me go back real quick. The cool thing is that you'll get additional rewards for getting the package tonight. And so we'll talk more about all that good stuff, but we definitely want to honor those who are like, I'm ready now. And then really, so I do want to just say real quick, why not? Why not start now? Because maybe that little voice in your head that says, I'm okay with not doing it right now. Well, the saying is true. If we could fix our issues, we would have done it already. So the question is, why try to do this on your own? So waiting could mean trying to figure it out alone, struggling with isolation, getting frustrated with slow or no results, and spending more money on trial and error. I don't have time. I got goals. I'm trying to lose some weight. So I don't want to do that by myself. And I definitely am going to be excited doing it with this group. So what are the benefits? When you act now means starting your journey to a healthier and happier you. You heard from 3 people who have told, their stories of why focusing on you and prioritizing you is important now. Mind, body, and soul. So you'll have a supportive community that will walk with you. And that's one of the bigger things that we're going to talk about is not just getting rid of the foods, but what are some of the toxic communities or environments that we're in that is possibly causing us to do things that are not good for us, and how to create healthy boundaries. So all those things are good. And then who knows, out of this group, you could find your next connection, whether if it's a network or even a friendship, because all those things are really important too, that you continue to stay the course. And like I said, if you don't wait, you get to save $100. So I think that's pretty dope. So healing is possible and you don't have to do it alone. So let's build a life full of purpose, peace, and power, mind, body, and soul. So choose yourself every day, and today is a good start. So any questions? Great time for y'all to ask questions so we can answer anything before we go.
Sorry, let me turn my camera off. This thing is so sensitive. How do you get to the Afterpay if you got to make like a couple of however many payments?
So basically with Afterpay, when you go to pay, it'll show you on there as an option for payment. You click on it. If you haven't used Afterpay before, it'll ask you maybe like a question less than maybe 2 or 3 seconds. And it will tell you if you qualify. And if you do, then it will break down in 4 installments where you can pay, and it'll do all that for you there. So it'll actually give you 2-week installments. So you would end up paying every 2 weeks. And it'll give you your due dates and all that stuff. So then that way you can start the program now by only paying installment payments today. If you qualify. Let me clarify that. If you qualify.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thanks, Charlene. That was a good question.
I had a question, and I don't know if there's any one answer to this, just with everybody being different, but what would you say is like the minimum time requirement for this 6-week challenge? I know we have like the weekly calls that are with the group. I'm not sure how long those are planned for. I think you said they start at like 7:30 Eastern, but I don't know how long that goes till. But yeah, just to get an idea, for people who might have limited time.
Yeah, that's a good question. So they usually run from 45 minutes to an hour, just depending on if we have a guest speaker that night. When Dr. Smart comes on, I go over my nutrition piece and then he comes on. But I try to keep it down to at least 45 minutes, usually 30 minutes of me and then 15 minutes if you guys have questions. So I try to respect everybody's time. So definitely less than an hour, and most of the time, people always encourage people to message me or email me if they have direct personal questions. So then we're respecting everyone's time. And then for some reason, I know a lot of sports are starting and things like that. If you're not able to make the call, then just email me or Patrice and say, hey, I can't attend the call Monday. Can you send me the Zoom link? And then I usually send out a Zoom link, just of a recap of what you missed, and then what's next in the challenge. So make sure that you're not getting behind in the challenge. So that would be the weekly Zoom call, and then like she said, on Wellness Wednesday, you'll get a pre-recorded video of encouragement. So usually that's your time commitment each week.
Yeah, and I would say too, in addition to that, just, even though the time that you're with us virtually, just be mindful of like the things that we're going to ask you to do. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do, but also just know that, we've seen the results. And so if you want your maximum results, we're just asking for you to be as cooperative as possible, even when it's difficult. And if you, like I said, during this time, this may surface a lot more things that you're like, oh, I need to have an actual individual conversation. And that's a great opportunity for you to reach out to us about, like she has a wellness membership. I have an Inspired Purpose membership. So if you would like to continue or start, therapy services, weekly, monthly, whatever the case is, or even with Nicole's wellness membership, you can reach out to us. And then a good thing about you being in this group is you get a discount on our services because you're already investing in yourself now. So that's a part of the discounts that you will get, or the benefits. And you also get a certificate at the end of the program, which is basically a reminder of the work that you put in, that you can look back at as a reminder of the work that you've done.
Any other questions?
It's not a question, but it's a statement, I guess. This cooking bit is going to be challenging for me, but I'll be able to get it done, I guess. We got to make real quick recipes.
Yes, I live quick, real recipes. So I got you.
And I've heard of her skills, but of course I'm not gonna say nothing. But yeah, I mean, you can see the results from the pictures. Like, clearly she knows what she's doing. And so I'm excited about that too. Because like I said, some of the weight that we may have on us, and I also want to speak to this real quick. Some people on this challenge may not be looking to lose weight. Maybe they're trying to manage healthy weight that they already have. And maybe some of the ups and downs, or the yo-yo, weight gain, weight loss, maybe that's something that you want assistance with. And that's something that we'll talk about as well, or even why we might be dealing with the yo-yo up and down weight. But the other thing too is, just being mindful of, we're trying to help you all have consistency, because anytime we're doing something new, there's always the desire to want to go back to what we know. And that's a big part of this challenge, is that you are building with purpose. You are building with purpose. Sorry if you hear my dog down here. But you're building with purpose. And that's a big part of why we're doing this, is because the weight that you might be holding on to could be weight from grief, from depression, from anxiety. And so that stuff, as you're working on your mental health, will come, and it will be a part of the weight that you're letting go of, because we're also carrying things that we might not realize.
And I just want to say real quick, we keep talking about weight and stuff. So when I was at the Black Expo with Patrice, I had a client walk up to me. I didn't know who she was, because she doesn't live here, but she's from she was here for the Black Expo, and she's in my program, but I never seen her face because she always has her camera off. And she walked up to me, and I was like, do you know Patrice? Because I didn't know who she was. And she's like, no, I'm your client. And she didn't join my program because of weight loss. She joined it because she just felt crappy and she didn't know what was wrong with her. And like several of her family members started like a chain that everybody pays. They all kept taking turns paying for new people to be in the program because everybody kept getting great success. And a lot of them wasn't even because of weight. They just didn't feel good. And it was because of their gut. So anyway, she came up to me and she was so happy. She had acid reflux. She started with me in February and she said she takes no acid reflux medication. So she didn't know it was all because she didn't feel good because of her stomach, right? Because of her gut. And she had acid reflux and all these medications was giving her side effects. And now it's July and she's not on any medicine. And that's part of my story too. Not only did I have celiac disease, I had severe acid reflux since I was probably 5 years old. And then I had a lot of allergies. Today I take no medication. I was on like 10 medicines almost all my life. And I don't take anything since I went back to school 3 years ago. So even if you're kind of on the fence and you're like, I don't need to lose weight, my gut, I don't know if I got a bad gut. What is gut health? But if you just right, if you're not sleeping at night, you're not getting any sleep, you're tired when you wake up in the morning time. If you like my mom, she tells me that God wakes her up 3 times a night to pray, and I tell her he's waking her up to pray for what she put in her body. That's not normal to wake up that many times at night. So some people like, I keep waking up, I gotta go pray or I gotta go pee. Nope, that's not. Your liver is waking you up saying, what did you do to me? So I talk a lot about that. I joke a lot about my mom. She's my she challenged me. She challenges me. That's why I got tough skin and I can handle almost any client because she is a challenge. Okay. I love her to death, but she is a challenge. So anyway, so I just want to throw that in there. And if you are thinking about it and you know somebody like, oh, my sister, she always feels tired or, she has no energy. She went to so many different doctors. Nobody knows what's wrong with her. I love those stories. I love hearing people like that. I love somebody come to me and say, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm like, yay. And they think I'm crazy because I want to help them. Right. And because that's how I was. I didn't know what was wrong with me for 30 something years. And I feel amazing. Some people like, I feel bad for you. You can't eat pasta. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good over here. We figured it out. So if you have someone like that, it's in your family, tell them to contact us and join this challenge with you. We're better in numbers. We're better if you have a support person. The person that I talked to, they have had probably they're up to 20 family members all around the state that's been in my program, and they have a whole family group chat going. So I just want to keep that in mind. But I did put the link in the chat, and then Patrice send you guys an email with the link as well. And if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call. Even if you don't want to join the challenge, but you want to know about our services individually.
Yes. So definitely if there's a takeaway, if no one else has any other questions, I would say this. I'm sure that there's people that you're thinking of as you were watching and listening. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm thinking of several people off the top of my head right now that need to be in this program. Please tell them, because here's the thing. We're only 2 people and we know a lot of people, but you tell people and they'll be like, oh yeah, you did that one thing. I forgot, tell people, because again, the more people, and the one thing that I will say too, and I thank you, Charlene, for sharing your story. I love what you said. When you decided to make the change, the people around in your household, they automatically, maybe it came with some attention, but they eventually, did what you did. Cause I tell you what, I told my husband already, for those of y'all that know my husband and mine, I was like, we doing this challenge together and I'm not cooking 2 meals. Okay. We cooking 1 meal in this house. And if I'm cooking, it's going to be healthy. And he's like, okay, cool. And I mean, and that's one of the things that you got to think about is like, there's other people, whether if it's in your household or your friends or family or people, coworkers, anybody that you think of, like, please share the form with them that we sent to you to fill out, have them fill it out. And like I said, the challenge, you saw when the challenge is going to start. So we definitely want to make sure if they're not in the state of Indiana, we want to make sure that they have time to get all of their welcome package with everything to start with us. So please send that out to them tonight if you think of people, and just be like, hey, look, sign up. Don't ask questions. Just sign up.
I just have one thing. I did just make my first payment on Afterpay.
We got it.
Okay. And okay, for my package, I'm going to be in Indianapolis on Saturday at a wedding. Nicole, is there any way I can, we won't get there till after the thing is over though, because I think we won't be in Indy till almost 2:00. Because
yeah, I can get with you.
The wedding starts at 4, so we're trying to be there by 2. Well, no, we won't be there till about 3:00. So
yeah.
Okay, I'll reach out to you after the call and then we'll figure it out.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
Awesome.
All
Any
right.
other questions? Because I know y'all been on here for a minute, and thank y'all. And I hope that you've enjoyed this. But
We gotta give Charlene our first. We gotta give Charlene something special for joining tonight for our first person on this call tonight to join. So she joined on this call. We gotta give her something. So
yeah,
all right,
and
guys.
same thing for Sophia too. So thank
Yes.
y'all so
Okay.
much
Yes.
for
Yes.
Sophia and Charlene for sharing your story.
And I hope
That's
everybody else joins. It's well worth the money and the experience. It's something you can take with you throughout life.
Yes.
That's one thing I learned through the wellness program. I can carry these tools, these eating habits. I can carry that through life. Even if I fall off, I know how to get back on. I know what
All
it
right.
takes to get back on. So it's not like, and Nicole doesn't leave you, and I'm sure Patrice won't leave you. You can ask them any questions. It might take a day to get back, but you're going to get an answer to your question.
That's right.
So-
And yeah, and then again, it's virtual. So even if you, for instance, if you say like, I definitely want to sign up for therapy sessions, we can do it virtually. So even if you are in the state of Indiana, Sophia, we meet virtually all the time. So we can definitely do